What's your name and where have you come from today?
So I'm Zain, but I've come from sunny Bradford in West Yorkshire. What was the other question?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, was that it?
That's it. You passed. I'm Rebecca Jones and I'm from the flattest part of the country, Peterborough.
And what is it you do?
I work as a housing officer.
Oh, me too.
There you go, that's my next question. What do you do? What does a typical day in the life of a housing officer look like?
Oh, it's busy. It's really busy. But it's just so varied. As a housing officer, you can go from helping someone with the rent 1 minute, the next minute you'll get an urgent call that there's been a domestic violence incident, so you're running across to the other side of your area to deal with that, and it sounds a bit cliche, but no 2 days are actually the same in our job, as you'll know yourself. It's crazy, yeah. But what is your role within Accent and what does it entail?
Well, I work as a housing officer and I've been doing that for 13 years. So my job sort of rolls from everything from sort of when you first get somebody coming in, asking for housing, interviewing them, seeing if they're suitable, right the way through to when somebody ends their tenancy or passes away, and you deal with everything from, we're really privileged that you get to deal with everything from that person, from seeing them at their lowest points all the way through their highs, and yeah.
Would you say that within the time you've been a housing officer, the role ever sort of changed?
Yeah, the roles changed massively. When I first started, it was purely, a lot of it was just about housing, whereas now we're a lot more about supporting tenants and dealing with like everything more holistically on an estate, even from helping to set the rents, and just everything has changed.
Can you tell me your favourite story when you provided support for somebody?
There's quite a few, but one that's probably the most rewarding is I started working with a tenant about when it was one of the first tenants that I ever had that I met, who he lived in a flat. He had quite complicated mental health issues. He didn't always have the best relationship with us as his landlords, and a lot of that was because of his mental health issues. So it took a long time to get to a point where he trusted us to get the support, and he trusted us to support all of his needs, because his neighbours didn't complain about him, but he could be quite intimidating. And I got to know him quite well over the years. His mental health had sort of deteriorated quite a bit, and he'd been in hospital a fair few times. And one of the problems that he had was that he lived in a block of flats. He was in the first floor block of flats, and he honestly believed that people kept breaking into his flat and kept breaking into the front door. So he was always tampering with the locks, changing the locks to the front door, changing the locks to his door. You couldn't keep in touch with him because he would take to part his mobile phone. So you had to be really persistent of keep going around there, carding him, being available in the office, going out to see him, not necessarily 9 to 5 hours that he kept. So it could be quite labour intensive, but we got to a point, once we'd identified that, they said one of the issues was making sure he's got the right money and then moving him to a flat that had its own front door so that he had that security that only he was there. And we got him a 1-bedroom house, which he moved to, and with the help of the tenancy sustainability team, we got it carpeted, we got it furnished, and he lived there. And I mean, the shame for me personally was we sort of lost contact a bit for quite a few years, because he was happy. He didn't need that support any longer, which is great. You've done your job, but you sort of feel that you lost it a little bit, but which is great because you have done your job, and that was really rewarding.
But you know, at least you've made such a positive impact on his life.
Yeah. And then it was quite a few years later, but he needed our help again, and he got back in touch with us and told us, and again it was about money and things, but his physical health had deteriorated, and unfortunately he passed away. What problems do residents and potential residents tend to have in your area?
Again, it's a variety of issues that people tend to have. I mean, a big one at the moment is affordability, and obviously we've sort of price of living increasing every day. You know, we're getting more and more of our tenants who are struggling just with everyday sort of living. So sort of putting that support in place, so looking at the finances and looking at how they can sort of budget, seeing if there's any way that we can sort of increase their actual income coming in. So is there any sort of benefits that they don't know that they're entitled to? Overcrowding is becoming a bit of an issue as well. I mean, you know, families are always growing out, so making sure we get the sort of right type of property for the right types of tenants, that's a big one at the moment as well. I think going back to the affordability, that's going to become a bigger issue with sort of universal credit coming into full force. I know my area sort of June, July is when it's going to be rolled out, so we expect to sort of...
we've got it already in Peterborough. And it is having an impact. You're finding a lot more people presenting in real crisis situations, and it's sort of important about...
Well, no, not so long ago, I had to drop some food banks off to one of my tenants, and it was a little bit heartbreaking that I had to do that. But again, you know, once we got universal credit sorted out and the money was coming in, and obviously like, depreciation she showed, you know, it does. It's
nice.
Doesn't it?
It's nice to think that you can help someone sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel and get them there. But it's like you said, it's hard. It's hard to having to drop food bank vouchers off to people and take them food and things. But you know, you might be the only person that they've spoken to about that. So it's great if you can help.